Ricky! Power, Book 2, Episode 9, Monster. I literally rack my brain weekly trying to figure out where this show went wrong. I assume it was the moment in time when Courtney Kemp came up with the bright idea to make a spin-off show based on the two most hated characters from the original Power, and to have those two characters conspire to kill the most liked character from the previous series. There's a comparison to be made here about a video game that came out this year called The Last of Us Part 2. I won't get into the whole story, you can look into it if you choose to, but basically it came down to a lot of the fans weren't happy because of the new protagonist of the story and how that story played out in the sequel. Sound familiar? As far as episode 9 goes, the stupidity that is this show continued. So we find Carrie once again in bed with Zeke, and she claims this was a one-time thing and she's now worried about the consequences and the effect this will have on her career.
Hey, Miss Ladybit.
I think we're way beyond that at this point, aren't we? But her super vagina has Zeke singing, and he tells her all about the incident at the club from last week's episode. She thinks that he should tell the police because it'll look better for him in the long run should all this come out. He disagrees, knowing what it would mean for his family and for him to be connected to that. And in typical Carrie fashion, she does what she wants anyway, and she actually tells the police about it just moments before Monet threatens her to keep her mouth shut, otherwise she will expose what she's been doing with Zeke.
That makes sense.
Oh, but I forgot to mention how she got into this situation to begin with. So the cops are investigating the GTG member that they found in the pool at the campus, and they talk to the staff about questioning the students on campus who come from similar backgrounds as the victim. So Jabrari and Carrie, remember the teachers that fuck their students, basically volunteer themselves to be the moral compass of this investigation, and to be the middlemen between the cops and the students. FYI to Miss Courtney Kemp, right here, right now, if you're trying to send a heavy-handed message in this poorly written show about racial profiling, maybe these two morally disgusting characters aren't the right characters to do that with. The cop agrees to this arrangement anyway, of course, because everyone on the show is stupid and gullible, all for the sake of moving this ridiculous plot along. I can't decide if the teacher's taking the moral high ground is just the show writers being tone deaf, or if this is just an attempt at irony. Either way, you decide and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Monet continues to be the worst drug queen pin on television as she forces more product on Tariq and thinks it's a good idea to try to move all this with the campus crawling with cops.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Even if no one is looking into course correct, do you really want to increase your activity now when suspicion of foul play on the campus is at an all-time high?
Right, it's like when I'm right, and when I'm wrong, I could have been right, so I'm still right because I could have been wrong.
Maybe I'm thinking too much, I don't know, but this seems like drug dealing 101 to me. Tasha is getting concerned that now Tariq is getting in too deep, but Tariq reminds her that she made him this way and she taught him everything he knows about the drug business. I suppose this is a veiled attempt to try to make Tariq either one, look like a victim, or two, try to reinforce how somehow he's become the Pablo Escobar of Stansfield. Sorry, but I'm not buying into either of those reasons. Can I just say that Lauren is becoming a character that I might be able to get on board with? I can understand your confusion with that, but let me explain. There is another one of these god-awful classroom discussions, and she's the only person in the whole classroom, including the shit professor, who has any kind of common sense. She basically says that a lot of people that are in jail are there because of the choices that they made. I don't think that's too far of a stretch. She didn't say everyone, she said a lot of them. But Tariq, being the sensitive bitch that he is, he questions Lauren about whether or not she believes his mother belongs in jail. Now wait a second, I realize that she is currently on trial for something that she technically didn't do. But are we really going to act like Tasha is an upstanding citizen and she hasn't dealt drugs and murdered people in the past? And even if Tariq had no idea about those things, but I think he does, we as the audience know all about it. So if you try to use the character of Tasha to prove a point about people being locked up unjustifiably, then once again your heavy-handed message has failed. Also, to be clear, the Frankenstein monster was not a monster because of the way he was treated. He was a monster from the moment he was created. That's kind of the point of the story. Because the story is about one man playing God and creating life through unnatural means. To draw this comparison and basically say the Frankenstein monster could have fit into regular society under different circumstances is not only a poor comparison, but it's just plain stupid. So Drew finds out that Kane is working with Guap, and he runs back to tell Monet. Monet's brilliant response to that is that Drew should have killed everyone in the room. Now there was a lot of people in this room, and not to mention Drew's brother, and she didn't even have the balls to kill him when it seemed like she probably had a reason to. So what makes her think Drew would have or could have accomplished this? Monet is again showing how weak of a character she is because she's constantly acting off emotions carelessly. What Monet doesn't know is that she is being pushed out of the business. Kane tries to warn her about an attempt on her life, but he arrives a bit too late. Drew is shot during this moment, but he does survive. And of course, Monet blames Kane for everything. And Kane responds that she made him this way. Now, both of those things are technically true, but Monet and Kane are both the type of characters that are never going to take responsibility for their own actions. Instead, they'd rather blame each other and continue to run their business into the ground. So Davis and Sachs put their plan in action to use Epiphany the stripper on the stand to try to convict Tariq. So they're prepping her, they're telling her exactly what to say, but it all blows up in their face because both Tasha and Tariq find out about their joint plans through Davis's side piece. One little pep talk from Tasha about a cheating man, and she flipped on him real quick. Tasha informs Tariq that she wants him to go and kill Epiphany before she's able to take the stand. Again, I don't know when Tariq became this cold-hearted assassin, but everyone seems to think that he is. He goes to kill her, but instead he presumably gives her Monet's money to basically disappear. I guess this is supposed to show that Tariq is not a monster like his father. I will say this, through all of his faults, Ghost was trying to go legit, and everyone, including Tasha, gave him shit for it. So while he's not perfect as a character, as a person, who's the real monster here? The ungrateful son and wife who conspired to kill the father and cover it up? Or the criminal father who was attempting to go legit in order to give his family opportunities that he never had?
What do you want from me, Tariq? Teach me the game, Ghost.
You tell me. Anyway, Sachs is put into a corner and he basically has no other option than to bring Tariq to the stand. That means Tariq needs representation, so he turns to Tamika, who has a vendetta against Sachs already. She agrees to represent him and reminds him that anything he says to her is protected under confidentiality. She asks if he killed his father, and after he hesitates for a moment, he does confess to her. He tries to justify it by saying his father was a monster and that's why he needed to go, but we all know his father wasn't a monster to him necessarily. He also says that he wants to confess on the stand because he doesn't want his mother to be punished for what he did. Imagine if he came to this conclusion 8 episodes ago. There would have been no need for us to subject ourselves to this shitty writing all this time. So did you see episode 9 of Power Book 2? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Right on.